Hi, readers. Welcome to this week's edition of the Because Fiction Questions and Answers, where we ask our authors your questions, and we have some great ones today. And I'm excited to be asking those questions to the lovely Dana Mentink. She is one of my favorite people. Her and I met at the SoCal Christian Writers Conference several years back, and we just have been fast friends ever since.
Long time ago.
And so thankful for you, Dana. So this is going to be so fun. So before I start asking you all the fun questions that our readers have for you, will you tell us a little bit about what's been going on with you and your author world at this time?
And bananas, I'll tell you. I just actually today, this book launches today, Framed in Death Valley, the print version. The ebook launched a couple weeks ago. So that's coming, first in a 6-book series. And I'm excited because my first mystery in the Shake Shop mystery series releases at the end of May. So we're cooking up all this fun stuff to do online. And you know how I love a giveaway. So I'm hot on the trail of ice cream themed giveaways now.
And so much fun. Of no return, right?
Yes.
I love that title. So clever.
It's going to be a fun book. I think you'll like it.
Oh, I'm excited. So you have your Framed in Death Valley, and is that the first in a series? I can't remember off the top of my head.
This is a 6-book series, and this is just number 1. So it's like the new little baby in the family.
And so much to look forward to.
Yes. I can't wait to see how 6 books turns out. I have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, we can't wait to see either, friend, because they're always so fun.
We'll have to come up with something, won't we?
Right. So literally, right.
Make notes in the middle of the night and then wonder what the notes said, that kind of
stuff. So fun.
Classic.
So with that, let's start with our reader questions. And the first one comes from Sabrina. And she asks, where do you get your sense of humor? She loves her facial expressions and they make her laugh. So she's wondering where you get that.
Well, I say 2 places. My father, who has a wonderful sense of humor, and I was an elementary school teacher for a really long time. And you need a good sense of humor.
Amen. I remember kindergarten, 1st grade.
See what I mean? And you need to constantly be like a circus clown to get attention. So I've, honed my humor skills.
Honed that ability. All right. So the next question comes from Kimmy Wentz, and she says, what did you do before your life as a writer? What is a question that no one has asked you that they wish that you wish that they would?
Well, as I said, I spent a very long time in elementary education, taught, K-5 all over the place. So that was my first profession, I guess you could say, which lasted a really long time. And I love that question. What question would you ask? Would you want to be asked that nobody ever asks? I love that. And the question that I would want to be asked is, what's it like to be the husband of a writer? Yeah, because my poor long-suffering husband who does not read romance novels. Okay, are you seeing where this is going? I've published like 40 some odd books and the poor man has to read all of them. And then I say, we need to go on a research trip to Alaska. And then I say, I need to get all these books to such and such. And can you check and see if this Google form worked? I mean, the poor man. It's a good thing he's retired. What's that?
He's such a good guy.
He's a doll, but you know how it is. The spouse kind of picks up a lot of slack in the writing biz. So thank you for letting me ask that question that nobody ever asks.
Yes. And it's nice to be able to honor the husband once in a while because they do so much behind the scenes.
Bless his heart. And he was an arson investigator. So I get so frustrated because I write these scenes, and then he'll say, Dana, that's not really how things blow up. And I'm like, don't bother me with the facts. So it is frustrating to be Mike Mentink. Bless his heart.
I can imagine. We feel the same way with my daughter, Kelsey, because she's studying criminal justice and we'll be talking about, if it's a book or we'll be watching a true crime show. And she's like, Well, not true crime. It's more like, FBI or something like that, some show on TV. And she's like, that's not how it works. They don't get results back in 2 hours. They're lucky if they have them back in 2 weeks.
I know, but who wants to watch that, right? I mean,
Right?
who wants to read the real thing?
Right? That's absolutely the truth.
It's true. It's true. The fiction is better than the truth. That's why we read it.
Absolutely. It's more fun.
For sure.
So the next question comes from Deborah. She says, how, and this actually was asked by two people, Deborah and Judith. They both want to know how COVID has affected your writing and if you miss teaching.
I do miss teaching a lot. Fortunately, I was able to do a writing class recently on Zoom for adults, but it was close. We had prizes. Just we had kickball. No, I'm just kidding. We didn't do that. It was grown-ups. But I do miss it. And COVID has been, well, I retired from teaching last year. So I was online teaching for 3 months, and it almost killed me. I'll tell you what. 3 months of teaching 8-year-olds how to write online did not work for me. So yikes. So then I'm writing full time, which is good and bad because COVID has definitely given me a lot of time back, right? You too, right?
Yeah.
The downside is I have too much time to go, oh, I could start a new project. Oh, I want to write this. Oh, wouldn't that be great? It's like, focus, Dana. Focus. And, hubby's helpful with that too. Like, what are you writing? He's afraid to ask, what are you writing today? How much time do you have? So,
right? Like, I call it, when my kids were little, I went to this mommy and me thing that you know how they would do that for young moms. And the lady was talking about that, how you can't stay focused. And she says we have to honk at ourselves. So she said, like, you'll be going to the kitchen and you'll be doing dishes and you see like the dish towel and you go, oh, I need to throw dish towels into the washer. So you go to do that. And then you're in the washroom and you see that there's some towels that need to be folded. So you start to do that. And then you're like, okay, these towels need to be put away. Then you go to the bathroom and you see it's dirty and you start cleaning. And she says, then nothing gets done. So you have to honk at yourself. So I joke around with my husband and say, I honk at myself a lot these days.
I love
the older
that.
I get, the more I honk at myself.
I'm
Right?
going to use that. I'm going to honk at myself. That's lovely. I'm going to get one of those auga horns,
Right? So our husbands will think we're crazy and our kids too. And all of a sudden they hear this auga horn going off and they're like, what in the world are you doing?
Well, and when you do this job, you're paid to daydream. You're
True.
paid to have your mind everywhere. So it's not conducive to like normal life of getting things done.
Right. I absolutely agree with you, friend. So Janet Dowell wants to know, have you always wanted to be an author and who is your inspiration? And Trixie's comment was kind of the same. Her question was that desire always there? So can you tell us about if you've always wanted to be a writer or not, friend?
Oh, well, early on, I wanted to be an Olympic ice skater, but that dream that ship has sailed, let us just say, because I don't like the cold. I'm totally uncoordinated and I have big thighs, so I couldn't possibly wear those little things. So never mind. And then I wanted to be a circus clown.
A circus clown.
Yes, but I've always loved telling stories. I think telling them, listening to them, making people laugh with them. So yeah, I guess I've always wanted to be a storyteller. Who's my inspiration for that? I'm going to have to go to L. Frank Baum, who wrote the Oz books.
Yes.
I was enchanted with those books when I read that world building, and I was just absolutely blown away. So I have the whole series. He wrote some with his daughter, Ruth Plumley Thompson. I have the whole series, and they're like all tattered, and I would probably run back into the burning house to get them. And the dog, but the books, because they're so enchanting. That really set me on the path of, wow, let's tell a story in words.
Have you ever thought about doing like a mashup of one of his books? Like Wizard of Oz meets
I never did, but that's a great idea. Wait, I have to honk. Honk at myself. No, Dana. You have all these books to write. You cannot write a Wizard of Oz mashup. So stop it, Sandra. Stop it.
I know, like it's gonna be I'm gonna be blamed for a lot, friend, let's just say.
But that's a great idea. I'm not going to forget that one.
Right? And you can forget all about me. It wasn't my idea at all.
Oh no, you'll
I
be in
didn't
the
set you on that.
acknowledgments. You'll be in the acknowledgments.
I didn't set you on that path. When you're writing it and you're like, Sandra, no, not me. So Angel has a question for you, and she wants to know, which I think is a really important question. This is probably one of the most important questions today. Are you ready?
I am
What
ready.
is your most favorite dessert?
Oh, my most favorite dessert. I have a little problem in that I never really met a dessert I didn't like.
That
But
can't
I
be a
would say
problem.
key lime pie, probably. If I could have a key lime pie, you sit me down with a fork, man, I can just do a number on a key lime pie.
Well, it's refreshing, and living out where it's warm a lot of the time, there's just something refreshing about key lime pie and lemon bars.
Oh, yeah. See, another thing that I would not say no to. No, about the only sweet I don't like, I think, is marzipan. And, I don't dislike it. It's just not something I would go to, but I'd probably eat it in a pinch.
In a pinch.
Yeah.
So now we've answered that important question.
That's important. I like that one.
Important. Andrea wants to know how you deal with writer's block. What do you do when you get writer's block, friend?
Well, I find that you can prevent that by writing every day. I don't write on Sunday, but every day you push that story forward, you're probably not going to get writer's block. But if you do, I write more than one thing. So I'm going to go, if I'm stuck, I'll go write a blog, or I'll go do work on another novel, the Wizard of Oz mashup. And then, by the time you get back to it, you go, oh yeah, I know I know what the next thing is.
Oh, that makes sense, friend. So you don't just write one book at a time. You have several projects going, which is why you need to honk at your phone.
I know, hence the honking problem. Yeah.
So, okay. So our next one, this is a good question, friend. What is the most favorite book you have written?
I hate it when people ask that. It's like, what's your favorite child?
Right? It's hard.
Probably lately The Pint of No Return, because I am at heart a nut and I can be a little bit nutty in those books.
That's a cozy mystery, right?
It is a cozy mystery.
So it's a little bit different than.
It's not a suspense, so it's different pacing, and it's just, you have room to be fun and funny, and I err on that side quite a bit, so probably. But hey, I pretty much like whatever I'm writing at the moment. If I didn't, it would be really hard going, wouldn't it? So
That is true. Yes, I've heard many authors say my favorite thing I'm writing is whatever I'm writing right now.
yeah. Right. The one that rises to the top is the one you're plodding away on.
So Christina says, what is your favorite place to go and get your inspiration from?
Well, I would like to say traveling, but we haven't done much traveling. So, pretty much I just read the world, the news. You watch a little bit of the news. Mm-hmm. Not the like, here's the headlines about this party and that party, but I mean like the news of the weird. And there's all kinds of, I have a fixation on treasure, right? So I'm always looking for stories about treasure, like the guy who went to the flea market and found the ashtray that he paid $1.98 for, and he brought it home and it's worth $6 billion. Woo-hoo! Or that recent story about the woman, that was creepy, the woman who found the hole in her bathroom mirror, and it looked through into a whole other empty apartment. See what I tell you? That's real stuff. You can't make that stuff up. It's
right. And she opened the mirror and there was a whole other apartment behind it. And there was a water bottle in there. So somebody had been in there recently. Can we say hashtag?
Oh, do you have goosebumps? That was you want an idea for a suspense novel?
There you go. Where people think she's cray cray because she keeps hearing things and seeing things. Exactly. And got to be the person behind the mirror.
And how do they find out information about her when there's, she lives alone? And yeah, that one probably creeped me out. I better not write that, but You know what I mean? Like the world is strange. So
A piggyback question for me on that. Do you watch true crime?
sometimes I do. Um, I have to watch that because I have a vivid imagination and I get obsessive about things. So I have to, like, and I definitely can't watch stuff about kids that
Oh,
happened.
that's hard.
But
That-
I do sometime from time to time. And you know, the truth is stranger than fiction.
oh,
Unfortunately, evil is worse than you could ever imagine too.
the depravity
Mhm.
is.
Exactly. You couldn't make that stuff up.
Yeah,
So,
it's really sad. Like Denise and I, we watch a lot of true crime, but my daughter Kelsey, she has to take it in spurts. But it's fun, like I said earlier, to watch it with her because with her criminal justice degree, she kind of gives you some background information,
mhm.
which is just fascinating to me. It's
Mm.
really fascinating about how the law works and everything, but gosh, it can really give you the heebie-jeebies sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know how people who work in that industry, you know, make it out unscathed, but
For those of you who are police officers or in the criminal justice field watching, we do appreciate you because we know
absolutely.
it can be difficult.
Mhm.
So, Mary Sunshine, which we need a little bit of sunshine right now after talking about all these things, and that's so fun. Wants to know what advice would you give? She has a few questions, but her first one is what advice would you give aspiring authors? This is a good one.
I would share the advice that was given to me, which is if you're going to be a professional, you need to act like a professional. Witness, if you owned a shoe store, you wouldn't just show up when you felt like it. You'd show up at the shoe store because it's your business to run the shoe store. So if you're going to be a professional, you need to act like that. You need to take the classes, you need to do the work and show up every day. I hear people saying, "Well, I'm not inspired." How do you get inspired? Well, you sit down and you get inspired, you know, you don't it's not some magical thing. It's acting like a professional, doing your research and diving in there and making yourself do it.
I love that, friend. That's absolutely true. Sometimes you just write, and what you write is rubbish, and you have to go back and delete it and rewrite it again. But the point is that you're writing.
Absolutely. It's so much easier to rewrite than to write. So
Exactly.
write the thing and then rewrite it if you have to, but yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, to like stop and come back, it's hard to pick up. So I agree with you, friend. That is great advice. And so her second question is what would you like readers to take away from your books?
Absolutely only one thing, and that is encouragement. I want them to be entertained, yes, but I want them to be encouraged more than anything. And I think whether it's a Christian book or a general market book, there has to be that seed of encouragement in there, something hopeful that you took away from it, something that made you laugh, something that you saw yourself in the book. But it took me a long time to figure out why God put me here on this planet because I don't fit in very well in a lot of places. But I was put here to encourage. I learned that. So if I can do that, then I say my job is done.
You are a great encourager, Dina.
Mhm.
You've encouraged me. Sometimes you've sent me an email, and just at that moment, I needed a kind word, and the Lord has used you. So I definitely think that you're an encourager, friend. You're such a sweet person, and I know that readers love you. Like your readers group has grown, and they just find you so fun. And I think part of that is because you used to be a teacher. And so you're used to being silly and, and it doesn't bother us as teachers to.
You can't take yourself too seriously. You know what I mean? I mean, at the end of the day, we put words on the page. We're not out there curing COVID and, figuring out peace in the Middle East. We write books, so you can't take yourself too seriously.
Absolutely. For we leave that for the other people.
Oi, go fight and fume and talk about things. I don't know. It exhausts me sometimes. We take ourselves so darn seriously in this world.
We do, friend. And that's an encouragement there, just to remember that, sometimes we just have to smile and have fun and laugh and be silly. It feels good.
Absolutely. Important.
So another question from her is like, what is the best adventure you've ever taken?
Yeah, that was a good question. The best adventure. I am the piglet of the human world, if you will. Like I'm not an adventurer. I'm scared of everything. I have to work on that all the time with the Lord is Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. So I'm not the kind of person that climbs the mountain and does the thing, So,
No
greatest adventure.
skydiving for you?
What's that?
No skydiving for you?
No, 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 no. But I would say that the greatest adventure, and I hope you don't feel this is a cop out, is parenting. I have 2 girls. I love them, but I only had so many tools in the toolbox. So I've had to learn and grow, and they constantly keep me on my toes for sure. It's different having adult children, even, you know what I mean? Like, you think that parenting is a certain thing when they're little, but then they're grown-ups and your relationship changes and
Right.
you're not the dispenser of information and here's how to do everything in life kind of person. So you have to renegotiate that. So
Yeah,
it's been an adventure, one I wouldn't trade for anything, but it's like they used to say about the Marines, it's the hardest job you'll ever love.
absolutely, friend. I get you. That I know a friend I used to say, gosh, when my kids were little, I had 3 under 3. So I used to think it was so hard. And then I'm like, I was fooling myself. Having adult kids is hard. And my friend says, small kids, small problems, big kids, big problems. And sometimes I mean, fortunately, my kids haven't had big problems, but sometimes, these are decisions that are life changing decisions. And it's hard to have the wisdom to know what to say sometimes, don't you find, friend?
Absolutely. And I have learned that oftentimes the first thing that I think of to say is not the right thing to say. My daughter will actually say, "Don't say the first thing, mom." That I want to just tell them exactly what they should do because I got this. Trust me, I'm older than you. I know what to do. And then I realize, oh yeah, they're grown-ups, so they don't really want me to tell them what to do.
Well, and it's hard too because that's easy. Like it's easy to say, "Oh, go do this," but
Mhm.
it's harder and more time consuming to sit and explain why. So when I'm not here anymore or I'm not around anymore, they can make those decisions without me. And it's just like, oh, I got to do that. And sometimes I have to think of why. I don't know. It's my instinct. My instinct tells me you should do this, but I can't. Sometimes I don't know why, right? It's like,
Yeah,
this is
just
just,
so something in you, you know, it's an adventure. We're all sharing that adventure, right? Especially during this pandemic. We're
yeah.
sharing it even more.
And your kids were home for a while, right? With the
Yes, one of them is still here. My eldest lives with us. She's in vet tech college. And
pandemic.
the other one is in Sacramento doing college, but still online. She just has an apartment in Sacramento. So she's the one I'm in her room, and there's like weird stuff. Like, this is actually a replica of our dog. It's not just a toy. This is Junie, our dog. There's weird stuff in here. Oh, look at this. Bob Ross mints. So I tell her, and she'll never know because she's not on Facebook, so she never knows that I'm in her room looking at her stuff.
Are sharing with readers all about her stuff.
Yep. So I said, don't leave anything on your desk you don't want the world to see, honey.
I love you, Fran. You're a hoot. I think that's so funny. So our final question is from Tabitha, and this was similar to a question asked earlier, but I think there's just enough tweak that it makes it really interesting. When did you know you wanted to write romantic suspense? And is there a story behind that? So you had said that you love to tell stories, but how did you settle on romantic suspense?
Well, that's a good question because basically I didn't. I started in mystery.
Mm.
And I often find that sometimes, and I don't mean to criticize anybody, but sometimes cozy mystery in particular can be a little slow paced. Like, I get a little bored sometimes. Like, we got to find out all about the town and all about the people and I'm like, okay, let's get to so I have a short attention span. Maybe that's it at the bottom of the end of the day. So my agent at the time suggested, why don't you take a sidestep to suspense writing and give it a try. And that was with Harlequin, who was a romantic suspense publisher. And then I just got into it from that way. But I do think writing suspense makes you a better cozy writer, and writing cozies makes you a better romantic suspense writer. So I do think it's telling a story is telling a story. So any roads lead there. But so I guess that's how I got into it. Does that make sense? That was like 40 books ago. So we're still growing strong.
It's amazing that you have 40 books, friend, and we just love you. And I just want to say that was our last question. So thank you so much for
Final
joining us
question.
today. This has been so fun to learn about you, to laugh together and be silly. And before we go, I think we should talk about giveaways. Giveaways are always fun, and they're our jam, friend. We love to do giveaways, you and I.
We
So
do.
let's talk about the first giveaway, which is for a $5 Amazon gift card. So that's to somebody who who submitted a question. So I would like you to pick your favorite question. I know it's hard, but what was your favorite question I asked you?
My favorite question was, what's the question that you wish people would ask you that you were never asked?
So let's see. Oh, that's Kimmy Words. So Kimmy,
Love that question.
I love that question too. It's a great question. So please email me at celebratelit@celebratelit.com and let me know that you have watched the video and claim your $5 Amazon gift card, and I will send it on over to you. And then for all of those of you who are listening today, we have a special giveaway just for you. So we have talked a lot about Dana and adventures and parenting. And so tell us something that you learned about Dana today that you didn't know. Tell us that below in the comments. And if you are seeing this in a group, be sure to post your comments on the original post. So that way you get your credit. And we are going to pick one winner to receive
Framed in Death Valley, autographed copy. I promised to do it in my neatest handwriting. And an amazing scratch and sniff bookmarker. I love those.
Those are awesome, friends. Scratch and sniff.
I have one in my Bible, and every morning I go, it's like I do this. It smells the same as yesterday, but I have to do this every day in my Bible. So I'm going to send you one too, friend.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Yeah, you'll see me in women's Bible study picking up and going like this, and the other ladies are going to think, what is wrong with her? We taught elementary school, friend. We love school.
It gets in you. It gets in you.
Oh yeah, we were joking around talking about teaching elementary school because like I call trains choo-choos.
Oh, uh-huh.
And so Denise, we were back in Tennessee. I go, oh look, there's choo-choos, and then I'm like, oh, moo-moos and she go, I was driving her and Shatona nuts, but they're like, oh, you were an elementary school teacher.
It's just in your DNA.
It is. It's like, it's so fun, right? To get on the floor and play games with the kids. I mean, who doesn't love Shoots and Ladders or Candyland?
I know. It's true.
It's so fun. So, and I've had fun today with you, friend. It has been so fun talking with you.
I've enjoyed it tremendously. Thank you.
So we will see you next time, readers, on our next Because Fiction Q&A. Thank you again for joining us. Bye. Thank you, Dana. Bye.
Bye. It was my pleasure. Thanks.